Hello, I'm Sally Farr, Secondary Social Studies Coordinator. Social Studies classes are where students learn about the past and the present. They acquire knowledge of and appreciation for our history, culture, and institutions, and respect for the culture and institutions of other people. Social Studies courses are where students learn to think critically and prepare to become informed citizens. I would like to speak to you about Social Studies instruction.
When you walk into a social studies classroom, you will frequently see a teacher talking. This is not necessarily a bad thing. Many students learn from hearing information, and it's a quick way to impart a lot of facts. But the teacher should not talk more than 10 to 15 minutes without giving students processing activity. These should be engaging activities that allow students to think about what they're learning. These activities can be completed independently or with a group of fellow students. This is called the interactive lecture, or sometimes it's referred to as chunk and chew. The teacher chunks information into coherent topics. Once students have processed or chewed one chunk of information, then the teacher can move on to the next chunk of information. You should see content writing in the social studies classroom. This writing can be both formal and informal. Informal writing can be a way to process information from an interactive lecture or a ticket out. Social Studies ICs can train your teachers on many ways to incorporate informal writing into their instruction. Formal thesis writing is required in the pre-AP Social Studies classroom. Pre-AP teachers are trained at All Aboard training that takes place every fall. The afternoon of that training is dedicated to implementing the skills continuum for thesis writing, including possible questions for students to respond to, exemplars of grade-specific student writing, and practice implementing the grading rubrics. So where do students keep their informal writing and evidence of having processed information during the interactive lectures? Well, the interactive student notebook, of course. The ISN should not be a collection of worksheets stapled into a spiral or placed in a binder. It should be a place where the student records his or her personal learning. It should reflect not only the learning of the student, but also the student's personality and creativity. Every summer, training is offered on the Interactive Student Notebook as part of the Cooperative Tolerant Classroom Training. This year, that training will take place at Tompkins High School on August 12th. Students in social studies classrooms should be given the opportunity to analyze events using primary documents from multiple viewpoints. This is called thinking like an historian in history classes. It's just plain thinking in non-history social studies classes. Students should also be analyzing secondary sources, such as maps, charts and graphs, and paintings for information and drawing conclusions based on what they find. Analyzing primary and secondary documents is included in the Social Studies Skills Continuum. Some other things you should look for in the social studies classroom include direct instruction of the district critical vocabulary. Training in Marzano's 6 steps of direct vocabulary instruction is available from your campus social studies IC. You should see students determining their own best way of note-making. Once students have been trained on the types of note-making, it should be their decision on which method is best suited to their personal learning style. This is a college and career readiness skill. Note-making is on the social studies skills continuum. The last thing you want to see is students just copying teacher-prepared notes, unless it's a requirement of the student's IEP. And you should see students being allowed to test out of instruction using the pretest created for most social studies courses. Training on curriculum compacting is available from the Campus Social Studies IC. Teachers are not given access to the pretest and other curriculum compacting documents until they have completed this training. But most importantly, your teacher should be using the unit plans to plan instruction and the essential question to focus student learning.
Have a great 2014-15 school year.